A very good evening to you and welcome. It's Thursday, 15th May 2025. Mental health is real. Seek help, end the stigma. On the news this evening, analyst defends FCT minister in promoting peace in Rivers State. Bill to make voting compulsory passes second reading in House of Representatives. More reactions trail JAM's handling of UTME error. Nigeria's inflation rate drops. On the foreign scene, 103 killed in overnight Israeli strikes. I am Constance Irele Mega. The news continues after this short break. Just stay tuned.
Celebration of life.
Thanks for staying tuned. And now to the details. A public affairs analyst and lawyer, Mr. Emenike Eke, has criticized those questioning the sincerity of the FCT minister Nyesom Wike in promoting peace in Rivers State. Speaking with correspondent Emeka Otuka, Eke said such critics do not understand the person of the FCT minister. He said both the minister's statements and actions are in the best interest of Rivers State.
The proponents of such opinions are merely trying to exhibit their ignorance of the person and character of E.M. Wike, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory. They don't know him. That's what I'm trying to say. The FCT minister, like you know, is somebody who is firm in his decision and is committed to everything he has said. Does not want peace in this matter. He wouldn't have even opened his door for the suspended government. But he did that because he is sincere in the pursuit of the interest of Rivers people, and which everybody know that the interest of every Rivers man is peace. Let there be peace.
Eke also warned against making statements that could undermine the peace process.
He didn't just speak, he was also giving the conditions, the things to do for the peace to be achieved. For instance, he told him, look, the issue is not between you and I alone. I may have my grievances of what you've done. But if I resolve with you, what about the State House of Assembly, which is an institution? And then what about the elders of the state? What about the party for which if the Supreme Court had not intervened? You had already handed over the state to another party. Having given him this hint, it is for him to demonstrate that indeed I want it. It's not talking, no. This is action, no.
Well, as you may know, a public affairs analyst, Mr. Obinwa Akanwa, had said the FCT minister Nyesom Wike has not shown enough sincerity to make Governor Siminala Ifubara's supporters believe he truly wants peace in Rivers State. Meanwhile, the Chief Executive Director of the Institute for Research, Leadership and Capacity Development, Port Harcourt, Professor George Ahunanya, has called on the political actors in Rivers State to consider the economy of the state and embrace peace. In an interview with our correspondent, Ahunanya said the political crisis and the declaration of a state of emergency has put the economy of the state in a fragile situation.
It is
dismantling of all political structure has put Rivers State on a very delicate and fragile situation. Governance is being halted. The economy is also affected. Governance and economy goes pari passu. Once the governance is grounded as it is grounded in Rivers State, no more development of critical infrastructure, which ordinarily would have employed some artisans, which would have affected, some Mabapus, market women out there would have benefited from it.
Well, Professor Ahunanya also appealed to the FCT Minister, Nyesom Wike, to let peace reign in the state.
I am calling on Nyesom Wike, the FCT Minister, forward to have a retake. In my unbiased view, is largely in a better position to let go so that this will come to nonsense. A situation where a foreigner is not governing us. As if we don't have good, educated intellectual that can govern this oil-rich state. So everything is retreating backward. Rivers State is gradually but very fastly losing her glory, has become a laughingstock in the committee of the states.
Moving on, a bill seeking to amend the Electoral Act 2022 to make voting mandatory for all eligible Nigerians has passed second reading in the House of Representatives. The bill, jointly sponsored by Speaker Tajuddin Abbas and Daniel Ago, was presented during plenary today. While speaking during the debate, Ago explained that the legislation aims to boost citizens' participation in elections and also help reduce voter apathy if it becomes law. The Senate has constituted a planning committee to organize a high-level summit on national security aimed at addressing Nigeria's growing security challenges. The committee is to be chaired by the Senate leader, Senator Opeyemi Bamidele, while Senator Yahaya Abdullahi is the deputy chairman. The committee is expected to convene the summit and present its reports within 2 weeks. The planned summit is expected to bring together key stakeholders in the nation's security architecture to develop a coordinated and sustainable approach to tackling insecurity across the country. In other news, the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, says it will deploy teams to rivers and other states in the country to engage directly with communities identified as being at risk of flooding. The Director General of NEMA, Mrs. Zubaida Umar, said this today at a stakeholders' engagement on the 2025 National Preparedness and Response Campaign on flood disaster and related hazards in Abuja. Well, she said the team would deliver critical early warning messages and disaster preparedness information at the grassroots level. As you may know, Rivers State is among 11 other states predicted to be within the high-risk areas, where last year, heavy rainfall and the overflow of the Orashi River caused severe flooding in the region, impacting several communities and submerging farms. Now, the Rivers State government also set up a committee headed by the Deputy Governor, Professor Ngozi Odu, to support victims of flooding. Well, Orashi region comprises of 4 local government areas of Ahoda West, Ahoda East, Abu-Odua, and Ogba Egbema Ndoni local government area. We'll go on a commercial break now, but still to come, more reactions trail JAMB's handling of UTME error. Stay tuned.
Notice of meeting in view of the This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
Thanks for staying with us. And now to the rest of the news. An economist, Dr. Tubo Tamuno Boma has called for the scrapping of the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board, JAMB, due to the irregularities that characterized the 2025 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination, UTME. Was speaking in an interview with our correspondent, Boma, a lecturer at the University of Port Harcourt, said tertiary institutions should be allowed to conduct their entrance exams, adding that candidates spend a lot of money writing UTMEs and post-UTMEs.
Since after JAM, the universities will still go ahead to carry out their post-UTME and all of that. Why not scrap one and then let it be one? Let every university have the opportunity to advertise and then do their exams. Find a way to admit their students. That's the way it should be. Because students will spend money, write JAMs, pay transportation here and there, and then they will still come to the university and they'll still pay a little token. What's the need of all of that? The universities should be allowed to conduct their entrance exam. JAM should be done away with at this point. The truth is, some schools don't even do the post-UTME. They just write the JAM and they get admissions. And you get the feedback from the classroom. There's nothing to write home about.
But a professor of African literature, Sam Chinaka, believes that more investment in education and subsidies for the ownership of personal computers would help improve the literacy level of UTME candidates.
The federal government, state government, and all our governments, they have to invest into this technology era. So bring the pieces, educate, and then make it mandatory. It's not just the Android phone. Computer is something everybody should own. So if you want us to get to that level, we must get to the point where acquiring computer should be subsidized. And then you make it available for as many young people as you can. So that when they find themselves in exam atmosphere as JAM, they will be comfortable.
Well, Professor Chinaka also tasked JAMB to be more thorough in checking the functionality of computer systems in various centers.
The people you want to partner with, the schools that have those computers, have your technicians run through the number of computers they have, confirm that they are in working conditions, ensure that your power is also going to run throughout that particular time the exam will be holding. You don't just go and then the moment money is exchanged and the contract is signed, you just leave the whole thing like that for students to bear the brunt of the mistakes and the equipments that are not working.
Also, an educationist, Professor Ken Weke, has criticized JAMB for hastily releasing the results of the 2025 UTME without conducting a thorough investigation into the technical glitches that affected the exercise. In an interview with correspondent Emeka Otuka, Professor Nweke, a lecturer at Ignatius Ajuru University of Education, said the premature release of the results was unfair to many candidates whose performance may have been compromised due to network failures. Well, he also believes that mobile network providers should also be held responsible.
We want to say thank you, Ken, to say we appreciate.
Well, Professor Nweke also defended Professor Ishako Loyede, saying he has shown competence in managing the UTME over the years. Moving on, the House of Representatives has called for the establishment of at least one computer-based testing center in each of the 774 local government areas of the country for the UTME. Well, the lawmakers made the resolution during plenary today. Now, they said the move would aid in forestalling future recurrence of the glitches in the 2025 UTME. And also, some residents of Port Harcourt say they are displeased at the short time frame issued by JAMB for the receipt of the UTME. Recall that the JAMB registrar, Professor Ishako Loyede, had, while admitting that the examination body made a mistake in the conduct of the last UTME, said the receipt of the exams will begin on Friday, 16th May. Well, the Port Harcourt residents who aired their views on Nigeria Info FM's Morning Crossfire also suggested the scrapping of JAMB.
When we pay for the transportation to those the students, because most of them are coming from far, like some of them are from Soso Primary School, Soso Place, Soso Place. When we pay for the transportation, actually JAMB has made mistakes. and the time is short. This people cannot come out just short period of time. See you that computer, and they repented, or they will bring more computers. Now, brother, the way these people are treating students is very bad.
The date they announced for this exam right now is too short. These children are going through trauma. When will they recover from the trauma?
You know that you have got a certificate. If you finish your secondary school, you are YS. Go and apply to any of the universities. They should give you aptitude test, write it there, and you pass, and then we are admitted. You be admitted into university. They should come down totally.
In other news, Nigeria's headline inflation rate eased to 23.71% in April 2025, but this was disclosed in the latest Consumer Price Index report released by the National Bureau of Statistics. The report also showed a decline in the food inflation index, which dropped by 0.53 percentage points to 21.26% in April from 21.79% in March. Well, the decrease was attributed to the reduction in the prices of staple food items. We'll go on another break and the news continues afterwards. Stay tuned.
Celebration of life.
Airstrikes in Gaza have risen to 103 since midnight. The airstrikes came as Israel's 10-week blockade on aid entering Gaza continues, where reports say Israel is also preventing journalists from entering Gaza. But that's the news. But before we go, let's take a look at the highlights. On the news this evening, you heard that an analyst, Emenike, has defended the FCT minister, Nyesom Wike, in promoting peace in Rivers State. A bill to make voting compulsory has passed second reading in the House of Representatives, and there are more reactions still trailing JAMB's handling of UTME error. Nigeria's inflation rate has dropped to 23.71%, and on the foreign scene, you heard that 103 people have been killed in an overnight Israeli strike in Gaza. The news was edited by Onyeka Chinwosu. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808-721-7215. I am Constance Irele Mega. Thank you so much for listening.